Welcome back to another Sergeant in the Kitchen episode. Today I'm going to bring you one of my favorite sandwiches to make with venison, and that is a Philly cheesesteak. These sandwiches are fast, easy, and delicious, like I'd bring you a bad recipe. The longest part of this will be the marinade. You're going to want to get that going right away. We'll get to it in a second. Let's just start with what you're going to need today to make this recipe. You're going to want yourself a pound and a half of meat. We're making two sandwiches. Pound and a quarter of meat. You're gonna want yourself a couple of bell peppers. You can use green if you prefer. I prefer red, yellow, or orange. We got red and yellow today. You need yourself a yellow onion, and then your bread of choice. Any sort of roll will do. Any sort of hoagie, bun. We have Italian today. Quite plain, but we're gonna church it up a little bit with the butter we made for our kebab rolls. So this is the butter we're gonna use to toast those buns. Go back and watch the quail kebab episode if you wanna see how to make that butter. Otherwise, just any other butter will work just fine. And that is all of the ingredients. Now, for the marinade, let's hop into it. It's just a splash, we'll call it a tablespoon and a half of the following. We got some Worcestershire sauce, however you wanna say it. Got yourself some soy sauce. And then there's a balsamic taste that you want. You can use a balsamic vinegar. Just know it's gonna be a little more acidic. But today we have this balsamic glaze. This glaze is delicious, so I put about a tablespoon of this in the meat as well. And then the final part will be, if you want a little more heat, put some cayenne pepper in there. So I put some cayenne in here, about half a tablespoon worth of cayenne pepper in with this marinade on the meat. If you don't want that heat or spiciness and just rely on the pepper's heat, you can exclude that. Maybe just a little salt and pepper wouldn't hurt anything. But today, in our marinade specifically, we got some cayenne pepper in there. You're gonna go ahead and dice up or slice up your peppers and your onions. You're gonna go ahead and get your bread cut and buttered. You're gonna have your meat already marinating at this point, and that is your starting point for this recipe. Go ahead and set your oven to about 425. We're gonna pop these in once we put the cheese on top, so you're gonna want it real hot, around 425. So get that going before anything else. Next, you're going to take your buns, your buttered buns, and you're gonna get them toasted on the stove. From there, you're going to go ahead and saute your onions and peppers together. Once they're done, take them out of the pan. Go ahead and just set them on a plate off to the side, because you're gonna need this pan to be as hot as it can get when you put the meat in. So go ahead and just pull those onions and peppers off, set the pan back on the stove on high, let it sit there, get up to temp, and you are just going to sear this meat. You are just gonna throw it in the pan for a minute, 2 minutes at the hottest it can get. Remember, this meat is very, very thin. You do not need to cook it very long. You don't want to cook it very slow. You want to get that char on there. So you're gonna want to get that pan as hot as you can get it, throw that meat in, and just sear it as fast as possible. So you'll throw that meat in there, you'll mix it up about a minute and a half. You're gonna add your onions and peppers back together, get it all mixed and married together. And from that point is assembly. Assembly is easy. Portion out as much as you want on your buns. You could add a little bit of mustard to your bun at this point if you want, if you're into that kind of thing. Cheese Whiz is another great option to add at this point. And then you'll top with your cheese, provolone. If you're not a provolone fan, a little mozz. Either one will be delicious. And then you're gonna pop it in the oven for roughly 5 minutes. A little less, a little more, keep an eye on it. You just want that cheese to start to brown and be bubbly, but not burn your bread. You pull it out after about 3 to 5 minutes, depending on how high your rack is, how hot your oven is, and you are done. This Philly cheesesteak is incredible. And there, ladies and gentlemen, you have yourself a basic Philly steak. It's not exactly traditional, but there are a lot of ways you can spice it up, make it better. I'm gonna take a bite here real quick. Oh, so hot. Like I said, this sandwich, quick, easy, delicious, and if you need something to do with your steak or chops at home, this is the recipe for you. But we're gonna go ahead and smash the rest of this. Make sure you guys smash the like button while you're watching this. If you made it this far, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you in the kitchen. incredible.